Let's tackle the collection of images as a way to see how Adobe Bridge can help you organize and clean up your image library. I have launched Adobe Bridge through Photoshop, File Browsing Bridge, and I am going to maximize. I will navigate the Assets folder, which I always copy to my desktop, to the Lesson 4 folder, and to the Sort folder. And before we dig into deeply ongoing, I am going to arrange Bridge in a way that makes organizing easiest for me. I call this the Kelly layout. I will take every panel over on the right side and click and drag them all down to the lower left by their actual name. So I am clicking and dragging on the word keywords, and I did preview first. Now I can go to just darker gray area until my cursor changes to double-sided arrows and double-click to collapse that. Or I can simply click and drag to the right. This gives me valuable screen space in order to see the content, which is my thumbnails. I can make this content larger by sliding up to the right, and I always like to split my screen about half with preview and half with content or thumbnail. So I clicked the P that I could see where preview was, and I will drag it to roughly half of my screen. I will finish this off by making images for across. And finally, I don't like the favorites layout because it doesn't show me exactly where I am. I prefer the folders layout. That way you could see where I navigated into this Sort folder. I can also collapse the desktop and see all mounted drives or my entire computer, so you can navigate anywhere to any drive. Inserted any server volume, any disk, I will collapse that and go back to my Sort folder. Finally, I will double-click the word Folders so I can focus on clicking one image and getting a nice large preview. When I am happy with the layout, I will choose Window, Workspace, New Workspace, and name this Kelly. And once I name it Kelly, this will be part of my workspaces that I can always switch to when I launched Adobe Bridge. So let's begin. Scrolling through the series of images, I can see that I have got several of my pug Capone, and I am going to make some folders over here on the left. If double-clicking folders doesn't expand it, you will have to look carefully for this thin dark line, and I can stretch it and actually see my Sort folder. I noticed that I have pictures of me. I had picked up the wildest variety I could, pictures of my boy Roman and pictures of my girl Scarlett. Finally, there is a few that are brother and sister, so I am going to start by making new folders through Adobe Bridge. Bridge can be thought of as a replacement for your operating system whenever it comes to organizing your image, so I will name this one Scarlett. I will do another folder, name it Kelly, a third new folder, and name it Pug, and finally 2 folders, one for Roman and one for brother and sister. I often use the letter N instead of writing out N because it keeps my file name short. I also never use the space in a file name or folder name because it's not web compliant, and sometimes when sending files to FTP, a space in the folder name or file name may make them not show up, but all in the other hand. So let's begin by organizing the Pug folder. I can click this triangle to expand the Sort folder and see where everything is going to go. I will start first by selecting with a click and a shift click these 6 images that are of the pug, and I will scroll down and see if there are any more with dogs in them, and there aren't. So I will choose Tools, Batch Rename, and the last time I was renaming, I was forcing the case to either uppercase or lowercase. This time I am going to do a custom name of text and type Pug. Some web designers will also keep everything all lowercase. That's your call. That's most important when you are doing Action scripting or Java scripting. The next field will be a sequence number, so I hit the plus sign to add a field, and I will do sequence number, and all of these have less than 100 items, so I always choose 2 digits. There is a sample of my file name. I will hit rename, and then simply drag and drop the Pug into the Pug folder. Now I will select pictures of me using my Control key to select the non-adjacent or non-touching items. And I think this one I will put in my folder, since on the larger, now put intended because I am expecting there, but the larger person in the shot. As I looked down, Control-click, or if you are a Mac user, Command-click, will let me select things that aren't in a row, and this one is me and my mother, but I am going to organize it with a folder for me. So again, Tools, Batch Rename Me, name this Kelly. I always like the underscore instead of the space, and I will start the sequence number in over at 1 and click Rename. That I can drag and drop them into the Kelly folder. Now before I finish, this shot and this shot contained other people. So what I will do is click once right on the file name and name this Kelly and Roman. You don't have to uppercase that. My mother is always saying we need medication for that, but I feel better now that I did. And this one I will click and I will do Kelly. And casts, or some people would leave out the N altogether and just do it Kelly or Cast Kelly. The order they appear. Good. And I could, if they were just by themselves and I wanted them to be sorted in order, go back to Tools, Batch Rename. I use Command or Control to select the images again. I will keep the naming scheme the same, but just start them over at 1 and hit Rename. And now if I choose View Sort by File Name, they sort in order with the numbered first, then the other 2 alphabetically. So I will come back over to the left, and I have a few more to clean up. I will select the shots of the girl using Control or Command to select non-adjacent or non-touching items, and there is a few that will be brother and sisters, so when they both occur, I will skip them. I missed on that one, and then I will do Tools, Batch Rename. Her name is Scarlett. Starting at 1 again, and this time I will actually move them while renaming. So I will hit Browse, and in the Sort folder, I will say when I rename, go exactly to the Scarlett folder and click OK. Click Rename. They are not only fixed for the file name, but they are moved. And I did forget one here, so I will drag and drop this one into my folder. And if I want, I could rename it. So we will change the name to Kelly Skier. And then when they sort alphabetically, I am simply clicking once on the file name and pausing until I see the text is highlighted. So it jumps into rename mode. And doing the renaming in this way is exactly the same as doing it at your operating system. Bridge can rename anything on your hard drive, any file, anywhere. Doesn't have to be an image. I have selected this series. I will skip the ones that are brother and sister values, my Command or Control to grab the few over Roman by himself, Tools, Batch Rename. Let's browse and put these in the Roman folder as I move them and name them Roman. Now an important note here, and often I leave mistakes in the recording so that you could see you can make a mistake, or only human, we will. You could see how to fix that. I accidentally hit Return or Enter with the loose finger that was running across the keyboard, so one key was hit. That shouldn't be, and I didn't get a chance to finish renaming. Batch renaming is not undoable, but it's easy enough to go in and rename them again. Since Return or Enter was hit, they had been renamed and they had been moved. But now I will select the series and choose Tools, Batch Rename, and type the name I wanted and start the sequence number over at 1 and click Rename, and I won't bother to do the last one, so you could do this on your own. They would be brother and sister, but hopefully you will thank me later for showing you somebody's bridge tricks. Learning batch renaming and planning how my images are sorted right when I import them or copy them has made the locating images on my hard drive a breeze. And I found years ago, before using Bridge, I was constantly looking for images because I just had bad habits. Go out there and build some good habits using Adobe Bridge to organize your images.